Yo, check it out, I gotta speak the truth about the hardest working small channel in the crypto booth.
Well, we all got what we wanted. People were voting for Trump and supporting Trump and hoping that his policies would bring a new millennium for the crypto crowds, that Bitcoin would be pumped and holy glory would come to all that hold crypto and Bitcoin. And right now, it's not looking too great. Trump's tariffs are essentially causing every single other nation to respond in a similar fashion. So while Trump is raising tariffs for countries like Canada, Mexico, China, of course, the countries are doing the exact same thing, and they're raising tariffs on American products, which basically causes havoc on the market and an increase in prices, which in the end is going to nip all of us customers in the bud, because we will be the ones who will end up with having to pay the prices and the taxes and the tariffs. It is all going to come out of our pockets. So that's on today's video. But before I get into it, do you realize what it takes to create a video? I had to, every morning, I have to dig up the articles. I have to create a thumbnail. I run OBS, and all this is recorded. The entire video is recorded through OBS. The feed is streaming on my desktop, and then I have to post-edit it. I have to add some music. Oftentimes, I get flagged with copyright infringements for music that I download off YouTube because some jokers think that they can steal music off YouTube audio library as well. So please, there's a lot of effort that I put into those videos, not just me, but all YouTubers, all people that create content on YouTube. So please do me the favor, smash the likes if you're watching this video, subscribe to the channel, because the effort that is put into these videos takes time, and it's all here for you for free. YouTube is pretty stingy with reimbursing creators for their effort. So, I mean, the amount of money that they divide amongst the people creating content for a very long time is minuscule, unless of course you are in the category of Mr. Beast, who's got like millions of views and millions of followers, you know, then of course he's making millions. But for people like myself, it's peanuts, close to nothing. So please do me the favor, smash the likes, subscribe to the channel, because that seriously helps. And with having said all that, let's jump into the crypto markets and have a look at CoinGecko, and because it's not looking too great. Check this out, $3.38 trillion, which means that we dumped from 3.6 or 7, I think 6 it was. We were at 3.6 for some time, and right now it's 3.3. $400 billion have been drained out of the crypto market. 194 billion in trading volume. Bitcoin back down to $96,000, and some are saying that if we don't hold the 97,000 resistance, then we're going to see a huge retracement. We'll take a quick look at the Bitcoin charts in just a little bit. Ethereum back below $3,000. Wow, XRP is dunking. XRP is seeing a massive retracement. Surprise, surprise. Solana at $200, 20% retracement, not great. Binance token below $700, Cardano 80 cents, Litecoin $109, Polkadot back to 5. Basically everything is bleeding, and I don't even want to look at Meowcoin because that's going to be painful to watch probably, or it could be in the green. Let's see. Yep, no, Meowcoin's also in the red, unfortunately. Looking at the Bitcoin chart, on the daily, the candle broke well below the $99,000 support, obviously $98,000 support, and right now we are verging towards the 100-day moving average. So it all depends on whether this candle, once it closes, if we're going to open another candle below the 98,000 support, or if it's going to bounce back above that and the support will hold. But it's looking like we're going to open another candle within the next couple of hours below the support. So we've got the range that we have is anywhere between $98,000 and $91,000. So we could see, potentially could see a $91,000 Bitcoin. And of course, keep in mind that if we break below the 91,000, there is this massive area here that is just hasn't really been touched ever since the pump in November of 2024. Ever since this green candle right here pumped, this open space hasn't really been touched ever since. And usually when we see these massive pumps, there tends to be a retracement that goes back and recovers this area of this pump. So all of this mess that I just created, that is still basically untouched. And as a matter of fact, basically we're looking at all the way down to 67,000 essentially, or even 65,000 quite possibly, if we consider all of these candles here that had a nice giant pump. This probably would have been on a weekly. On a weekly, you can see that we've got these two, four candles, four green candles that have not been recovered. The price is not traced back to kind of cover these up. And I guess for argument's sake, since we had a W here, we could look at this pattern here, and it could quite possibly begin to look like an M pattern, which could indicate a reversal in the market. So strap on your seatbelts and get ready for a possible retracement, which is simply the market responding to Trump's tariffs and what other countries are doing. Canada has announced that Canada is going to be imposing a 25% tariffs on all products imported from the States. So that's not going to be looking great, but it's not the end of the bull market. It's just another rough patch that we're going through. The market needs to adjust to the new policies that are going to be coming in and all that stuff. And Trump is already promising some good stuff. Let's look at the news. Bitcoin network activity declined to 11-month low, leaving the meme pool almost empty. Transactions on the Bitcoin network have dropped to an 11-month low, according to data from CryptoQuant. The decline in network activity that began last year when the daily transaction volume peaked at 810,000 transactions on November 19th. CryptoQuant head of research observed the drop, noting that Bitcoin activity is at its lowest since March 2024. Average daily transactions on the Bitcoin network have fallen to around 400,000 over the past 2 months. So this could indicate that we're moving towards an alt season, or simply that we could face a sell-off, as Bitcoin has been ranging for some time now, and it looked like it wasn't going anywhere. I mean, it's been ranging since the pumps. It's been ranging between 91,000 and 108,000, basically for the duration of the past, since November last year. So we've had Bitcoin ranging at this area, and quite possibly there is a concern that whales or buyers are not really continuing to push the price upwards, and maybe it's time for a retracement, and so that's why we could be seeing a sell-off. The decline in Bitcoin transaction volume has led to a corresponding drastic drop in network meme pool usage. A Bitcoin meme pool is the storage space for unprocessed Bitcoin transactions before miners include them in a block. The number of unconfirmed transactions on the Bitcoin network has also fallen to around 10,000, a sizable drop from over 250,000 unconfirmed transactions in December 2024. The decline in network activity also means that many mined Bitcoin blocks have gone without being fully filled. One block had only 31 transactions and a size of 25.35 kilobytes. This is far below the average number of transactions within a Bitcoin block, which usually exceeds 2,000. One good thing that's coming out of this is that transaction fees dropped below $1 on the Bitcoin networks. It's too bad for miners, but of course it's good for users, and it's actually what Satoshi, according to the Satoshi white paper, is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be cheap for usage, which would actually begin to make sense in terms of Bitcoin becoming a form of money that can be used to exchange goods and services. President Trump says the pain from tariffs will be worth the price. Let's hope and see. Let's hope and see. Trump says the US will feel some pain from tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, but it'll be worth the price to stop decades of economic ripoffs. Canada hit back with 25% tariffs on 155 billion of US goods, and Trudeau isn't backing down. Mexico is preparing countermeasures while calling for talks, and China is suing the US through the WTO while planning its own retaliation. So this is the chaos, the havoc that is being caused by President Trump with the new installment of the new tariffs. Trump says it's high time Canada, Mexico, and China stop ripping off the US. Those days are over, he declared. Yesterday, Trump signed off on tariffs of 25% on goods from Canada and Mexico, plus 10% on Chinese imports. These go live Tuesday, according to his executive order. Trump argued that these countries have abused America for too long through a lopsided trade and tax drug enforcements. And so while Trump imposes 25% tariffs on Canadian goods, now Canada has imposed 25% tariffs on American goods. And it's a loopy-loop that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, the prices, it just means that prices will increase on these goods, on American goods and on Canadian goods in the States, which feels kind of counterproductive, or it feels like it may be a very well calculated gimmick that has been concocted by the G20 summit or one of those other secretive government meetings where all these thinker heads get together and plan the future of the global of the world for us without us being present there. Because I mean, they're just shuffling money around. Make your product in the USA and there are no tariffs, he posted. He pointed fingers at the so-called tariff lobby, which he accused of siding with globalists and foreign competitors. His beef with the Wall Street Journal also boiled over. They're working to justify this ripoff. And so in response, the Canadian government, led by Justin Trudeau for the time being, has retaliated quickly, slapping a 25% tariff on $155 billion worth of US goods. Mexico holds its ground, and China is calling for the World Trade Organization lawyers to step in. And so this is creating a whole bunch of hullabaloo. And so it's no wonder that the crypto market responds and people are taking out their money out of Bitcoin, because they probably need to secure their interests, pay off their interests and secure their assets before the market begins to collapse even further. And that's why we're seeing a correction in Bitcoin and all the other assets. And of course, when Bitcoin corrects, all the other altcoins bleed as they always do, to no end. But despite all of that, Dan Gamberdello makes a good point. I cannot believe there is a popular opinion floating around that Trump tariffs and his meme coins ended the bull cycle. Of course they didn't, but here's a good point. BlackRock is continuing to accumulate ETH and Bitcoin while retail frantically panics because crypto is currently consolidating. And that is a very good point, my friends. The likes of BlackRock and Microsoft continue to stash the crypto assets, their crypto assets, and build up their portfolio, while retail begins to panic and everybody is pulling the trigger like some dummies. And so it makes you wonder who's in charge here, because you see the crypto market dip drastically, which is great for the people with money who are able to now pick up Bitcoin on the cheap, I mean comparatively on the cheap, and Ethereum on the cheap, and all the other assets that are worth their while, but mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum, while retail and everybody else who may be in need of financial support or maybe may find it necessary to sell off their crypto assets in order to cover some other expenses or losses due to the implementation of the tariffs, are selling everything in crypto, causing the overall market to tank. Bitcoin Archive apparently has a slightly different opinion. Canada prepares pandemic level stimulus. Every country will respond this way to economic hits caused by tariffs. Bitcoin goes up, send it. So the Canadian dollar is plunging, and the Canadian government is reportedly rating a pandemic level stimulus package to offset the impact of tariffs. Now, I'm not sure what that means. Is Canada going to print more money? I hope not. But Justin Trudeau has been known for doing that, which is something that Pierre Blouvier, the new prime minister potential, is trying to fight against. So we're going to see what's going to happen. It could be that Trudeau, the present prime minister who stepped down, but I guess he's still in office for the next little while, might decide to print a whack of Canadian dollars more in order to provide a stimulus check, which will just flood the market again, which again will raise prices. Will be great to have some extra cash in your pocket, but I mean, prices will rise as a result of that money printer being turned back on. So Bitcoin, Ripple, XRP, Solana, and Dogecoin fall hard as President Trump launches new trade war. And again, this is basically the response of altcoins based off of what's happened to Bitcoin. Every time Bitcoin dumps, altcoins have a hard fall. And US lawmakers raised concerns about the national security risk of Elon Musk's Doge. This is on top of everything else. Apparently, Elon Musk's Doge now controls access to the US Treasury's $6 trillion payment system, sparking fears of national security risks. Lawmakers are furious, saying Elon's business ties to China and his unchecked access could endanger sensitive government data. Treasury's top officials resigned as Elon's team gained control, with watchdog groups suing over the lack of transparency and legal oversight. There's going to be a bit of a turmoil as governments change. That's usually the case with everything. Whenever power is shifted from one set of hands to another, there's going to be a few ups and downs. That's usually to be expected in everything. It goes like that with businesses as well. And I mean, the government is just a big giant business. Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, known as Doge, now has its hands deep inside the US Treasury's payment system, and lawmakers are freaking out, calling it a national security disaster waiting to happen. And that's probably all the guys who have been skimming money off the top of the Treasury and into their pockets, and now they're panicking that all of this is going to come to light, quite possibly. On Friday, the newly appointed Bitcoin-loving Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent approved Doge's unrestricted access immediately after Elon asked. And just like that, Elon's people now have their eyes on $6 trillion of federal payments. Ale Brick, the highest-ranking career official at the Treasury Department, wasn't about to stick around and watch Elon's people dig through the country's finances. He resigned on Friday when Doge demanded full access to the Treasury system. And all these people are going to run for the very reason I just mentioned, man, because they're all scammers, they're all thieves. They were probably most likely able to skim off the top of the pile and into their pockets for the past few years. And now, since, you know, the heat is upon them, they step down. This guy ran with his tail between his legs. And I'm not saying that he did, but he probably did. Steal money. Wyden, in a letter sent to Scott Bessent, said this payment system simply cannot fail and warned that letting Doge poke around in it is risky as hell. Why? Because according to these guys, the system contains sensitive personal information for millions of Americans who receive federal payments. Historically, access was limited to a few Treasury insiders for good reasons. It's a prime target for hackers and political abuse. But now, one of the key Doge representatives with access to Tom Cruise, CEO and Cloud Software Group, which owns Citrix and other tech firms. China has a track record of breaking into US government databases, and just 2 days ago, a former Federal Reserve official was arrested for selling US secrets to China. There you go. So it's not just that China is breaking in, but they've got basically spies and people selling things left and right, and which is equivalent to stealing and taking bribes. Last year, the Biden administration accused China of hacking US infrastructure and stealing phone records from top officials. So yes, the risks are admittedly there, but they do not come from Elon. They've already been there, and so any stuff you hear, you know, about Elon or Trump are just attempts to discredit them. So this is going to be the case of one side trying to fight the other. Pretty standard stuff. So let's say that the shit's about to hit the fan. That's all that's happening. If you're wondering why Bitcoin is tanking and why everything is tanking, if you weren't aware of it, now you hopefully are. Please make sure to smash the like, subscribe to the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that stuff, because like I said at the beginning, it takes some effort to create these videos. You're watching them for free, and YouTube doesn't really pay that well to YouTube channels that don't have enough likes or followers. So please do me the favor, help me grow this channel, support my efforts to bring you crypto news on a daily basis. And in the meantime, I'll continue digging for more content for tomorrow. I hope to see you tomorrow on another video. Have a fantastic Monday. Enjoy the beginning of your February. Today is the 3rd. Peace out. See you tomorrow.